Hey guys, so we're back. We're looking at an ETF type of stock. This one's called SOXQ, and SOXQ is a collective semiconductor stock. So, of course, there's weights to it. The more popular semiconductors like NVIDIA, AMD, Intel, those get heavier weights, and then the smaller ones. Not that they're really that small, but maybe like a Qualcomm or an ASML, I believe, is in here. All these other ones that aren't as, I would say, popular, uh, they still get a weight, it's just not as high. And then, of course, you can see the chart is not that old. So this ETF started back in June of 21 and is going on today. And I just thought I'd look into this one just to kind of get a sense of what that industry is doing. Uh, the plan is I currently have a couple of these types of stocks on my watch list. We have the semiconductors, there's a technology one, an energy one, and then there's like the top 100 stocks, the top 500 stocks. If anyone has another type of ETF that kind of focuses on one sector, like cars or restaurants, like I'd be very interested in those. If so, by all means, if you're aware of one of those that aren't on my list currently, and I'll show you my list here just so you can see what's on it. It's right here in this section. Uh, these are the ones that I'm currently following, but I'm very interested in this idea because if we can find a sector such as an energy or technology or whatever, if we can find one of those that is uptrending really hard, then we could find, one or two stocks in that sector and really profit from that rise. And of course, the trouble is we got to find that sector, like what's popping right now. We want to find that, of course, early. The earlier the better, so that we can capitalize on it. I just, we'll see what happens when we actually go through the entire list. And once we kind of get through everything, I will start to dig in and try to find other interesting sectors that have the potential to do that. Uh, but it would be nice if I had some help here to kind of look into it while I'm kind of getting prepped. So if you have something that can help me, by all means, share it in the comments. I would love that. So going back to this one, whoop, sorry about that. Let's move this off. Okay. So what we're doing, if you're not familiar, we're just gonna start off like we do with all the other ones. We're doing a very simplified uh, technical analysis here. And so for me, all I'm doing is adding in 5 lines. Uh, and so I'm just dropping them in at this point. They're not at any specific point. The colors that we're going to go through are the black, and I can start setting this up now. So the black, this one's actually pretty much on the mark. This first one is like the ultimate peak of this stock. And this one's pretty cheap, I would say. So the ultimate peak at this one is $31. And the ultimate low for this one is all the way down here to about $16. So a potential double up if you can get it at its all-time low to its all-time high. In terms of a buy spot for this one, like a good time to buy, I would say right around like maybe about 19, and I'm really just basing that off of, um, it went below here back in like July of 22, and it shot right back up. It came below for about a month and came right back out of it. Tested it again back in December, but didn't go below that time. And so right now it's at about 23. In terms of a sell point, like where it's hitting a fair amount of resistance, once again, this one's tricky. I guess if I were to go with a more recent approach, I would say more like 24. I could put it in higher if I was a little more optimistic about this one at maybe like a 27, 26, just because back here, that seems to be resistance back in like March of 22, or August, September of 21. There's definitely resistance up here, but it seems like with semiconductors, they're kind of in an off cycle right now. I'm sure it'll pick up again in the next like six to 9 months. 2 to 3 quarters, I suppose. But for right now, it's kind of in the off cycle, and so for that reason, I think this is a more accurate number to use the 24 for the next 2 3 quarters, and then maybe this will shift up as it kind of trends back up again. Uh, so I'm content with that figure. And then this last line that we're going to draw in, that's going to be like what we consider to be the fair market value for this one. And I kind of actually like the spot that I kind of have this one at. Right around 21 seems to be the fair. And I'm basing that just off of, it seems like maybe about half the bars are above that line, half are below. So it does kind of fluctuate between our buy point and a sell point uh, consistently, I guess. Um, so if we just kind of look at it, that fair value, it was kind of a support line back here in May of 22. Then it acted as resistance in July of 22. Then it came down here. It thought about doing something, but then came right back down and then acted as resistance more recently in September of 22. Tested it again in November and December of 22, but came back down to our buy point. And this time it went above. It went above to our sell point of 24, and now it's coming right back down. And so I would imagine that this one will easily come back down to 21. No question about it, in my opinion. So let me just kind of set up my cheat sheet here. So currently it's at about 23. If I were to buy this one, it would be 19. If I were to sell this one, it'd be about 24. And then I'll just throw in the date just to keep me kind of organized here. So in terms of what I would do, this one has such a small range. I probably wouldn't like I mean, I could, but it's like, because it's such a small range of like $5, if I were to buy it at a good buy point and then sell it at a good sell point, if I really capitalized and got in at 19 and then was able to sell at 24, that's just $5 a stock. And so this one for me, I just don't know if it's worth it. I mean, if I was buying like thousands of them, thousands of shares of this, and then did a full pump and then dump out of it, yeah, you could make money, but I guess I'm just not in the position to really capitalize on that fully. And I feel like there's other stocks that I could kind of really swing on it. And I guess the other thing is, because I have so many different stocks on here, I'm not sure how frequently we're going to be able to cycle through them. And so that's kind of the worry also is, I set this up right now, and, if I don't come back in, say, a month and look at this again, I might have missed a good time to buy or sell, and then, you know, it's more or less just kind of dead money. So I probably wouldn't do much with this one. This one's more to kind of keep in mind the industry. This one's nice to know, what is the industry doing? And so I guess as a general trend, the industry does seem to be on an uptrend again. But just in terms of a technical analysis, that seems to be the flow in terms of the cycles of where it's going to max out at and where it's going to bottom out at. So I'm pretty content with this. We'll kind of keep in touch with this and update as we go, but that's where it stands right now. And so this is the one we just added in, SOXQ. So I'm not really planning on buying this or doing anything. when you look at the numbers, I suppose if you wanted to kind of get practice and you're going to look at the market more frequently, yeah, this would be one that um, I would maybe consider testing this kind of thought process because it is low stakes. It's $23. It's very close to that sell point. It seems like it's on the downtrend if we come down, and I don't see a reason why it wouldn't come down to at least 21. So that'd be a couple bucks if you just want to try it. Just for me, like I said, it's not worth it for just $2. So I'm not really going to be watching this to buy and sell and trade, but I will be watching it so that I know what these stocks over here, the semiconductor stocks, are doing. So if I see a big uptrend in this, I know it's, oh, I should kind of start loading up on some of these guys over here. And that's kind of the thinking. That's the thought process behind having some of these sector indexes in this um, tracking system. But that's kind of on that's what I'm doing right now. Probably not going to make a move, but uh, I do think it's worth considering shorting it. Me personally, I won't do it because not enough at stake for me. But um, I hope you enjoyed this. Please feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.